Listen, Olive, Olive, we're going to have to cover your ears when we talk about these books, okay? There's a little too much for your sensibilities. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave. This is Olive. And we like to have a little fun while we talk about the books that we've read or acquired recently to help spread the joy of reading. So today, we've been talking about a bunch of the different books that we've read recently. We've been doing them in little batches, and we're kind of going out of order. But today, we wanted to talk to you about a couple books that we most recently read, just because we're very excited about these. So these were two books by the author Samantha Kolesnik, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The first one is True Crime, and the second one is Waif. And these were sent to us by our dear friend Pax Panic. Link her channel below. You should definitely go check her out if you haven't already. And we wanted to talk about these two books together because this is the first time we have read this author. And what are you looking for? This? Little misplaced treat on the floor there. So, okay. You all good now? You all set? Can we focus? Focus on the books? All right. So we had never read this author before, and I'm glad we finally did. So glad that Pax sent us these because I think we have a new favorite disturbing fiction author. These books both of them were excellent. So I'll deal with them one at a time here. So the first one, True Crime. So this was published by Grindhouse Press in 2020. You can see on the back, it's very clever. It's like a newspaper. And the back is Ketchum Plumbing, which is a reference to the famous horror writer Jack Ketchum. So I thought that was kind of clever. But anyway, so this book is. It's pretty dark, and it tells a story of Susie and her brother Lim, and they live with a very, very abusive mother, like the worst, like in every way, and they basically, this abuse, it comes to a head. And it sort of kicks off this road trip, basically, that Susie and her brother go on. And, they each have their own thing. But let's just say they're mostly on the same page. And they end up going on this very violent road trip where they meet different people and do different things. And so some of it is that road trip. Maybe half of the book is the road trip, and half of it is sort of post-road trip. But it's pretty much all told from, not pretty much. It's all told from Susie's perspective. And Samantha, again, Kolesnik, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She does a great job of this is one of those books where it is written really, really well. She can really, really write, but she delves really into the mind of the character, like very deeply, so that so much of it is basically Susie's sort of just dissatisfaction with life and disdain for her own body, based on the trauma that she's been through and sort of how she perceives things and what's okay behavior, and later on even who she sort of can connect with and not connect with, despite what's presented to her, based on just her outlook that is a product, or that seems to mostly be a product of the trauma that she's gone through. And so, like with all of these books that are not that long, I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to spoil it. But it does a really good job of following Susie through this. You see her over a little bit of time, and it does such a good job of exploring her trauma and how she feels as a result of that. And so it's definitely a dark book, but it's it's really really good, and it's one of those books that really enables you to empathize with the character and feel what the character is going through. It's just like the characterization in this book is absolutely top notch. Like the second, the yes, there is an engaging and pretty exciting plot, if for no other reason, because it's so horrific that it keeps you engaged and it keeps you addicted to the story. But the plot is almost really secondary to the characterization of this character that has gone through and continues to go through this trauma, and has a lot of difficult time connecting with others and connecting with society, or at least certain aspects of it. So thought this book was phenomenal. I highly recommend this. If you're, into, I know it's not the type of book for everybody. You got to know that it has those. I think you can kind of guess what trigger warnings this book would have based on what I've described so far. But if you're okay with that and you're okay reading the difficult stuff, I would highly recommend this. This was so good, and you will read it very, very quickly. The next book I read was what I would say is a similar type of book. Totally different story, but similar use of basically the vehicles that it used to try to tell this story of trauma and the results of trauma. So this is Waif, and this was also by Grindhouse Press, and this was published the following year in 2021. And I read both of these back to back very quickly. I mean, I was done with like both books in, I don't know, 2.5 days or something like that. And then if you're been around, we're slow readers, but we just read them back to back really quickly. I couldn't wait to once I finished True Crime, I couldn't wait to get to the next one. So what this one is about is about a woman that, Angela, that she thinks she has, not she thinks, but she has this sort of what looks like the idyllic life from the outside, right? She's married, has, her husband does well, they live a good life on the outside with the superficial things, okay? But of course, it turns out that, again, not a spoiler, you learn it pretty quickly. Her husband is abusive, and she does not. She has a pretty unhealthy attitude. Mostly has an unhealthy attitude towards. Let's just say she has a compromised attitude towards men in the beginning, which evolves into an overall attitude of disdain towards men later on. And so that's the most I can say about that without spoiling anything. But you see what happens with her husband, and then there's some crazy developments in that relationship, and then she meets somebody else, and that goes somewhere where you don't really expect, and then that leads her into this other sort of underground environment where there's different things. These things are set on the jacket, so I can say these lead to descent into the world of underground pornography and black alley plastic surgery. So these are the sort of just very extreme, depraved, if you will, parts of society that she ends up getting involved in, like very different from the up and up, outwardly proper life that she was living, and gets sucked down into just sucked down into the sort of a sort of depravity and misery of these different with these different people and these different environments, and through all that you see her trauma sort of just evolve to the next level, and you kind of see again how her sort of just pleasure with her, again, like with the other book, displeasure with even just herself because of her unhappiness, and this sort of I guess you would characterize as unhealthy attitude or unhealthy relationship with men, and just sort of disdain for relationships of that type. And so again, I don't give too much away, but that evolves, and actually this one has a little bit of I guess the evolution of the character has a little bit more of a promising piece later on in the story than True Crime did. But again, it was very similar to True Crime in that it was a very in-depth exploration of what the character, great characterization, very in-depth exploration of how she was feeling as a result of her experiences, and really made you feel, so really kind of put you in her shoes and made you feel what she was feeling. So once again, it just did a remarkable job of that. The writing once again was great, and once again did a great job of putting you in her shoes and feeling her trauma and what was happening to her, and her evolution as a result of that. So also highly, highly recommend this book. I mean, these books were both 5-star reads. Both of these books, True Crime and Waif, both 5-star reads. I was amazed how much I enjoyed these books. I don't think Samantha Kolesnik has a ton of stuff out yet, but I know she has a little bit more. So I'm going to go grab those. I'm going to read anything that she is putting out at this point because I enjoyed these books so much. So yeah, if you like these kind of stories, or at least tolerate these kind of stories, I would highly recommend that you go out and pick these up. They were just both so good. Okay, so that's it for today. This is, like I said, our new favorite disturbing fiction author, Samantha Kolesnik. True Crime and Waif. If you like the video, as always, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you get notified the next time Olive says it's okay to upload another video. Right, Olive? Now, if you've read these or you're thinking of reading them, leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. We're always happy to hear those. And if you don't want to leave anything substantive, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji. She always likes to see those. So thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.